Okay, there you go. I think you should be able to hear me now. Okay, little slight glitch. Hopefully you can hear me. Someone can let me know if audio is okay, if the music is not loud. I could probably just connect on here. Yay! Hey mate, how you doing? You right? Let's see. I'm just gonna check for myself if the music's a bit loud, right? I don't know. Let me check it out. Okay. It's okay. Good. This is good news, huh? Okay. So, yeah, you good? How's your week been? Has it been survivable? Has it been dramatic? Traumatic? All of the above? Yeah? I'm trying to find an example I saw for the inspiration for today's stream. So basically the idea behind today's stream is to have a contour. Yeah, so the idea is to have like some sort of contour, and then using that contour generate a series of like building, you know, typology, I guess. I'm not sure what the best way to describe it would be, but the idea is to have like a polygon and then use that to kind of subdivide it. I don't know. It's something we will have to work out as we go along. I have an idea. The thing is, with this sort of script, it's very unpredictable and there's a lot of logistic things you have to kind of resolve as you go through. We'll probably not have like a super finished product by the end of it, but we'll have a strong sense of what direction this sort of script will have. I'm just trying to find the example I used, I guess. No, this isn't it. Urban architecture, grasshopper script. There's this web page I found the other day. They do a really good job at doing it. Perhaps I can find it. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can find the website. God damn it, I can't find it. I'm trying to go through my historial here. Anyway, guys, tell me a little bit about your week. Are you guys studying, working? What's happening with you guys? Tell me, what you guys been up to? I'm trying to find it whilst you tell me what your week's been like. Context labs, there we go. Does the script is going to be for mass city modeling or specific building, because it differs between the two in terms of how the calculation of mass building is going to be? I think we're going to approach like one building, and then I guess you can iterate it, or you can simplify it for more curves. Wrestling with impossible topography. Alright, calm down, Mr. Legend. You're too advanced, man. You're too advanced for me. Us mortals barely reach your level. So I found this page the other day. They're really like, their work is really good, to be honest. Like, I have nothing bad to say. These guys are really good. They have this, I've seen it around, where this is sort of like an easier version, right? Like this for me, I reckon we could do. We could either do something like that or something like this. This is a bit too complex for a stream. I'm thinking something a little bit simpler. So something a little bit dulled down from this. So like a terrace or some sort of thing like that. There's just a few logistical things we would have to sort out. But you know, we're here for it. So what's the approach? Okay, so let's start off with the basics, right? Let's just draw, I'm going to draw a random polyline. So I'm just going to do something like this, 12, and then I'm just going to do something random, like some angle or something. We'll probably have to stress test this a little bit afterwards. So this is going to be our base curve. So I'm just going to reference this here in Rhino, like this. Now, what is it we're trying to look for? I'm going to try and do, let's try and do something. Let me see if I can quickly draft something up. Okay, so let me quickly, bear with me a second. I'm going to quickly model an example of what we could possibly do. Ooh, one sec. So let's try and work out, because this is going to be like what we're trying to achieve, right? So my window frame is going to go here in the middle. The window is going to be whole drama, but we'll work it out, I guess. So what I'm thinking for the window is to have something like this. Let's quickly see if I can quickly model this. If you can't draw it, you can't understand it. So it's worth investing some time in doing a proper model as of what we're trying to achieve. So now the frame, we can simplify it, because I know for calculations it's probably better to simplify it, but as a starting point, I guess we could do something like this. My keyboard is starting to break down a little bit. Okay, so a frame like that where we can define the height, right? So what I mean by that is that we can define this height, so we can go lower, taller. That's going to be one of our variables. Okay, so we need to think about a logic on how to break or make these holes and windows. So what I was thinking, I don't know if this makes sense, but imagine we have a curve, right? Then we divide it, let's say in 6 parts, and then we split this in those segments, right? So we have a line, but it's partitioned in various parts, and then we just simply select every odd or even value. So we have 3, right? 3 pieces of that line. Then we displace it, extrude it, and those are going to be our windows. From these surfaces, we're going to generate the windows, and the rest is just going to be the wall. So that's the logic, right? And the rest is just going to be, you know, the rest is just going to be the wall. So this would be the walls, right? More or less. These ones here would be the window reference. So this would have like a height of 1, for example, and then we could extrude by 1.2, and then all the rest is the wall as well. This is sort of the logic I'm thinking of for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in a folder, in a layer called reference. I'm going to turn that on and off as, you know, whenever it's convenient to see. Now this is our curve. Other issues that I can already feel have to be addressed at the beginning of the script are the normals. That's going to be one of the biggest issues. So for those who don't know what I mean, is that if we have 2 polygons like so, if I flip one of them, so if I rotate this one 180 degrees, here 180, so one is like flipped over. If I generate surfaces from this, right, and then I look at the normals, let's see if I can find it over here, you're going to see that the normal directions are different. So I need to find a way that if I have like 1,000,000 curves like this, I need all of the normals of all of these surfaces to be the same, right? So that's going to be like one of the first things we have to kind of work out. Is it best to work with NURBS or meshes? I think NURBS, just because meshes triangulate, so you're generating more vertices. Yeah, and I think for Rhino it works a little bit better with poly surfaces. Yeah, I wouldn't go into meshes. And personally, I don't really usually work with meshes, so for me it's a little bit of a foreign territory. So we have our curve. Then, as I said, we need to make sure that they're all flipped in the same direction. So how do we do that? We can use what's called curve guide or guide curve. I don't know which one it is. Is it divide? No, guide. What's it called? What's it bloody called? Guide curve. No, what's? Oh my god, I'm already stuck. Flip curve. I think it is flip curve. Or flip. I think it's flip curve. Then we need to make sure that all of our curves, so graphed, is flipped by one curve. Now, I think it's easier to... Our guide, basically it's saying, I want you to flip all of these curves, so all of the curves we're going to input, in the same direction as a curve that I assign. So to avoid any other references from Rhino, I'm just going to make sure I build a curve that I know is going to have a normal in the right direction. So I'm just going to use a rectangle. I'm going to say XY. Turn this off. The size is irrelevant. By default, it's going to be 1. And then this is going to be my guide. So to test this, I'm just going to do lots. And then some of them I'm just going to flip. So let's say this one, this one, this one I'm going to drag. I'm going to flip in the other direction. And I'm going to reference all of these curves here, set multiple curves, and then I'm going to convert them into a surface. I'm going to turn all of this off for now. I'm going to bake, and then I'm just going to review if it's working. Let's see, just quickly look. Yes, you can see that despite being flipped in other directions, it is now working. Whereas if I just, if I just extract it from here, you're going to probably see that it's, one's flipping down, one is up, down, whatever. So our first crisis is already resolved. And trust me, that's probably one of the biggest headaches. Okay, so we have this curve. I'm going to reference here. Turn this off. Okay. So I now have my curve. Now, this is where we have to think a little bit. Okay, so I have my surface. I don't really need the surface now. I know that's going to come up later. So I'm just going to turn this off. I'm going to turn this off as well. I'm going to save for now. And I should probably save my curve in case something happens. Let me try again. That didn't work. Save. Base curve. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is we need to work in segments, I guess, because we need to cut each segment individually. I just think it's going to be a little bit easier. I'm going to use explode. I have each segment separate. Now, the idea here is to okay, let me think about this very carefully. Okay, I'm going to start off with kind of a logical system, but I'm sure that there's something we have to do in between. If I divide, for example, in 5 parts, if I divide in 5 parts, like so, I can't have my window here in this corner here, or here, right? Let me see if I can quickly draw. Let me see if I can get this working. Okay. I need to make sure that this curve here, or this segment here and here, are not considered. And then this one is considered for the window, and then this one is considered for the window. I think that's going to be the right approach. And this is going to be wall. So I need this to be wall. I need this to be wall. And then I need this to be window, window. And I need this to happen in all of the segments, right? So, what's the logic here? This is going to be window, 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 window. I'm going to have to use a dispatch for this part. So how can I ensure that I'm only affecting from here to here? Right, from here to here. I need to extend the curve this much. I think that's going to be the way to go. How can I do that? Can I eliminate the first and last curve? Or I could probably just extend it. So I need a variable between 0 and 10. I'm just going to say, let's say our window is going to be 2 meters in length. I'm going to call this window width. Okay, so that way we know what it is. I'm going to disconnect this for now. I need to extend the curve, this one here, and I need to extend it in the negative direction, right? Here. So if I turn this off, I'm now resolving that issue. I'm getting rid of this. This isn't even considered because we have a new curve. We have a new curve. Let me see if I can quickly delete all of this so we can see things properly. There we go. Okay. I need my curve to go from here to here. We've reduced X, which is the window width, right? All of these divisions are X, right? So we've just removed X from here, and we're left with this line in the middle. And that's going to be our working line to generate the windows. I think that's the proper way to go around this. I'm open to suggestions, by the way. So let me know. Okay, so this is the window width, and okay, so if I have this curve, I'm going to measure the length because I don't know what the length is now, and then I'm going to say division because I want the length divided by how many, no, by the window width. That will tell me, so if I wanted to find the script by window width, I would have to measure the length, divide it by the width, and that will give me the number of divisions, right? So let me just jot this down. Number of divisions, right? This will be this here. So there's going to be 4 values in this case, and then it will round it up. So I'm going to use these values to divide each curve, right? So curve, oh, sorry, wrong. There, and the curve we're dividing is this bad boy here. So I think for this script we have to be as neat as possible, otherwise we can just go a bit overboard. So we're subdividing, oh no, that's the wrong curve. I need to subdivide the extended curve there, like so. I can get rid of this. Yeah, you could also do that. I just think this one's a little more, I don't know. It's kind of, you're doing the same thing, I guess, eventually. But yeah, you can do it with the culling. You would have to cull the last and the first of each one. Or you can just extend it, it's the same thing. And then this way, when I divide it, I think the count, okay, so let me work this out. Panel, the smallest curve, which is this one, is dividing by 2, 3. How's it rounding it up? This is the number of segments, that's correct. So I don't need to do any expressions or anything here. Okay, so the idea is to shatter the curves, to cut the curves using these points, right? So I have these curves and I can just cut them using this here. I think I may need to graft. I'm just going to bake this to see if it's working. 1, 2, yeah, it's working. Now, the issue here, I'm guessing, is that the length of each one of these curves are not exactly 2 meters, right? Because the divisions are not super precise, right? So if I were to use a length, and I measure this here, I get a length of 2, and then you get these decimals, which are bloody annoying. Okay, so let me try and work this out. I can use an expression to sort this out. I could kind of guess this was going to happen, but I don't think there's a workaround or an elegant workaround. Right, the idea is that if I have a curve which measures x, and I want this to be y, I know that x times a number equals y. That number equals y divided by x. Now y is going to be the window length, and x is the current measurement. So expression, I could just use a multiplication, but you know, same thing. What was it? Y divided by, yeah, y divided by x, where y is the intended value, which is this value here. I'm always referring back to the same number slider. This one here. Let me just get my cables right. By this value, and then I'm going to be scaling from the middle. I'm going to be scaling from the middle. This is me being super like as precise as possible. By this value, and this is my curve. And then this way, in theory, if I measure it now, I should have 2 units exactly, right? In all of my values, 2, 2, 2, 2. So this is just like being a super perfectionist. And then if I change this value to 2.3 or 2.3 for example, if I do a before and after, it would become a little bit more evident. Where if I measure my, the lengths here, you're going to see that there's not 2.3. It's always going to be like 2.2, 2.3. They're all different. But doing it this way, I'm making sure that all of the lengths of the windows are actually correct. Hopefully that made sense. I'm going to leave a note here actually. I'm going to put this in a group. Put scribble, there we go. This is to ensure that the window width is exact and not approx. Okay, so I have the curves I need. I'm going to turn everything I don't need off. And then here, this is where we're going to dispatch. And then we just choose one of these. Now, I am going to simplify over here. And here, I'm just going to turn this off. And we here now have the selection, right? We could choose the other. Either one, it's fine. I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. So I'm just going to go ahead and save. And already it's starting to look interessante. Now, the hardest part of this sort of script is memorizing where and why we did everything, right? Give me a sec, guys. There we go. So this controls the number of divisions, the points generated, extended curves. Okay, so we have these curves. Now this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so let's define the windows. So this part of the script is going to be the windows. We'll sort out everything else afterwards. So you know what? I'm thinking that instead of having windows, why don't we just do balconies? Right? So if I use my reference, instead of having windows, we can have, you know, the window starting from the floor going up like that, right? And then we can change the height and the width. I think that could be interesting. Ooh. That's going to be a lot more interesting. Okay, so we have the curves. So we need to define the height of the doors. So this is going to be Z. Number slider that goes between 0 and 5. We're going to be generous. I'm going to say 2.2. Is it best to use blocks or build? Sorry. You could use blocks, but it's a little bit more. I don't know. It's you're relying too much on a plugin. I tend to try and use as many native components as possible. And anyway, we're going to be only doing one floor, and then we're going to copy and paste that many times by whatever amount of heights we want. So once we're done with like one floor, we could convert it into a block and then copy and paste a block, right? I reckon that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, I like the way you're thinking, because it's you know, it might be a little bit better. Give me one sec. Sorry guys, the thing is, here in Spain it's really bloody hot, and then we have to have the air conditioning on all the time, and then when you change from one temperature to another, it kind of produces this allergy. So I ask for your laxed judgment. Okay, so we have the extrusion. I'm going to put this over here. This number slider, I'm going to change the name. This is going to be the, let's call it door height, because it's no longer a window, it's now a door. Door height. Okay, and then we're going to basically generate the window here. Now, how can we approach this? I want to subdivide this. So if perhaps we don't want 2 frames, perhaps we want 3, right? So what I'm thinking is that we can use an ISO trim. What's the component? Construct domain. There's one. Is it divide domain? Yeah, this one here. Ha, found you. Between 0 and 10, I'm going to say 2. I'm going to copy and paste this. This is going to be 1. My domain is going to be this surface. This is going to be here. And this needs to be reparameterized. Is that right? I might be wrong. This might need to be reparameterized. I don't remember how to do this. Do you guys know? I basically want to divide this. I don't want to use a plugin. That's the thing. I know there's I would usually just use. I would usually use Lunchbox. The surface here, reparameterize. I think this needs to be reparameterized, but it doesn't have the option. So instead of, I can just do it here. I don't have the option. Why? Simplify. Why don't I have the option? I mean, I can just do this, reparameterize. Or actually, I can just turn it into a surface. And I know for sure that the surface allows me to use, there we go. Haha. Haha, you won't beat me, grasshopper. I will always win. Okay, we're back on track. So here the surface is, there's something wrong here. What's happening? Simplify, no. Domain, surface, extrusion. What's happening here? Do I need to graft? I did need to graft. Okay, there we go. The other direction, so this would be 1 and this would be 2. So you can see here, if I zoom in, you can see that I now have the frame, right? Whereas if I want 3 frames, I can do 3. Don't know if you guys can see it there. Yeah, so we have that. Now we need to do the frame in the interior. So I'm going to use an offset curve. Where are you? Offset curve. I need it to offset inwards. The frame thickness, I'm just going to say between 0 and 1. And I'm going to set the value at 0.05. This is my curve. Now, I don't think it will always go inwards. So I'm gonna make sure it's always going inwards by using an evaluate surface. It requires a point. This is my surface. I'm gonna just do this. That way I can have the frame, and the frame is basically always going to define kind of which direction is inwards and outwards, because you're basically saying, look, I want you the direction to be towards the centroid, not out of the surface, and then it's contained within the frame. So it's understanding that negative is going inwards. Okay, so we have this. We now have the door. Now we need to actually create the frame. Okay, let me just quickly change the name of this. This is going to be door frame thickness. Let me just drag this out. What's the difference? It's the same, but it's in this case it's giving you like where it's contained, I guess. But yeah, essentially it's just a plane, and it gives you like the normal directions too. Okay, so okay, let me just push this out of the way. I'm going to do a solid difference here. The outer curve, which is this one, I need to make sure it's grafted before I do anything. Graft. I'm also going to simplify just in case. Graft, simplify. This is going to go there. And then this way, I now have the frames like so. Okay, so we have that, and then I can just convert this offsetted curve as the windows. So this is the window, this is the window frame. We can give this a thickness, but for computational reasons, I'm just going to leave it without a thickness because I know it's going to just take longer to load. So what I am going to do is I'm going to give it a custom color just so that I can visualize this a little bit better. So I'm going to use swatch. Oh, wrong one. Color swatch. This is going to be baby blue. Like so. And then the frame could be, I don't know, it could be black. And that way we can differentiate it a little bit better. Let me just line everything up. So I'm going to change to black. And we have our window frames. Okay, we're getting somewhere in life. Let me just think how I can better. Yeah, let me just leave it like that actually. Okay, so we have the windows, right? I'm going to leave that, turn that off. What I'm interested is in this plane, because now the logic is going to be the following. So we're going to have these walls, right? 0.3, for example, that has a thickness of 0.3, right? They're going to have, this wall's going to have a height. Why is it not extruding? There you go. We're going to have this wall, and then the plane or the extrusion we have from before, right? So let's just imagine this is my door, right? Let me just line it up. We have this, we're going to create the wall, and then we're going to have like all of these doors, right? What I need to do is I need to extrude these doors inwards or outwards. That's something we have to define. And then do a Boolean difference between these two, right? So that we have these holes, and then our frames are already inside, so we don't have to do anything there. That's the logic. Will it work? I don't bloody know. But we'll work it out. Okay, so these are my windows. I need to go back to my curves. So let me just extract that from here. This is my base curve. I'll bring this down. This is my base curve. Okay, so I want the frame to be inside, so I'm going to offset outwards. Offset curve, direction is going to be positive. That's too big. I'm going to say a thickness of 30 centimeters. It's already in the right direction because I've already flipped the curve before. Okay, so let's change the name. This is going to be wall thickness. Okay, now we're going to... What we're going to do, mate? We need to do a solid difference between the big curve, so this is the outer curve, minus the inner curve. And I need to make sure it's grafted. So graft, graft. I'm also going to simplify, just in case. And then here I'm going to extrude in the Z direction, whatever height I want. I'm just going to say 3.3 between slabs. This is my direction. This goes here. Okay. This is wall height. This is an important parameter. Okay, I'm going to leave that on standby because we need to do some few things before. Okay, I need to extrude these surfaces in the perpendicular direction, making sure that it always goes outwards. How do I do that? I would have to create I could do it creating a vector, a custom vector according to this offset. Now, how do I do that? Okay, so I can do it using vectors, or I can do it evaluate surface. Yeah, but how do you tell Grasshopper that you want it in the direction out of the polygon of the base curve? Okay, I have an idea. We have these curves, right? We have the bottom curve. I just need to tell it a direction, so we can create a direction. I need a vector. So a vector is defined by 2 points. So I need a point on this curve, then another point on the outer curve, and then connect the two. So I need to make sure it's perpendicular. Okay, so if I extract the middle point of this curve here, I need to find the perpendicular to this curve here, which is essentially the closest point. Curve closest point. This to shit. So this one. There's a lot of unknowns though, because I'm always talking about one curve, but the idea is to have more than one. So I'm not sure how that's going to match up. Ah, it matches up fine. Ah, here, you see, it creates these duplicates because I need these to be grafted as well. This is where it gets tricky, my friends. I don't need to simplify. I can't simplify before. Yeah, this is where it gets annoying. Annoyingly tough. Any ideas? I'm just going to quickly draw something. See if this works. Help me out, guys. Help me out. Help me. It's that part of the script where you're like, oh lord. How? If I find the closest point. Surface is this one here. Do I simplify? Is it? I don't know. I don't actually. I'm actually quite gobsmacked. The issue is that distance here. Graph. No. Simplify. I don't know. This is where. And color the one that's inside. Yeah, there's like if I manage to solve this part, it's fine. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I don't understand. It's tricky, ain't it? It's tricky. It's bloody tricky. Here, this is my curve point. I just don't understand why it's not taking this one into account. It's taking this one. It should work, like, that's the thing that's bugging me. It should work. Okay, so this has two points. Why do I have two middle points? Oh, because I have, this is based on the curve. Some curves have more segments than the other. Polyline. Here I have this. So I should probably simplify this one. Here I have one. If I simplify this one, I still have Eagle. That means I should probably simplify further back. 1, 2. Is it a graph mapper? No, path mapper. Where I filter out, for example, there we go. Yeah, it's the path. Okay, fair enough. It's something to do with the tree. So I now have, okay, yeah, fair enough, that works. Yeah, you just have to be really hyper aware with this sort of thing. Okay, that works. Okay, so we have the curve, not the curve, the point rather. Point, this is now the points. I need to create the vector, so vector 2 points. The direction is from in outwards. This is a mosquito. Unitize and amplitude, because I wanted to find how long the vector is considered. The length has to be the same as the offset, so it has to be the same as this. Now, just to make sure everything is nice and neat, I'm going to put this underneath. And actually no, I'm going to put this underneath. Bang, bang. I have the vector. I need space, so I'm going to quickly bring this down. I have the vector. This is what? What's this? This isn't. Oh, this is the wall. So I need the extrusion. Let me move all of this over here. Extrusion. Extrude the extrusion. Bang. And I need to make sure this is grafted. And we have those solids. Okay. And then here, solid difference. This, so I need to graft, I need to flatten this. Or I can graft, I think. It might work with the grafting. Yeah. Or maybe not. Simplify. Ah, that's annoying. There you go. Okay, that worked. And then here I have the windows. Ah, there we go. That worked. Okay. So, I mean, you can always add to this. I'm thinking of doing a terrace. So, the good thing is that we have the vector defined. And this is going to be super useful for us. What I'm going to do is label things a little bit. Let's see if we can synthesize this a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be the wall thickness. So what I'm thinking is to have a balcony. Why am I doing this to myself? Balcony. Okay, so let me just turn this off. I have this curve from before, right, which is the 2 meters or whatever the balcony width, the window width is. So if I actually reduce that for now, let me say I want my window width to be 1.8. I want it to be smaller. What I'm going to do is here in this curve, I'm going to do something similar to what we did before where we scaled it to a certain length. So you remember we did this. This is to ensure that the window width is exact and not approximately. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, disconnect everything, disconnect, disconnect, disconnect this as well. And we're going to do the same thing. This is my curve. I need the middle point. This is my length. I want the balcony to be, let's say, 3 meters. 3 meters wide. So, what curve? This is my curve. Here, that's going to be my width. Oh, that's probably a bit too much. Okay, so let's say 2.4 to be, you know, conscientious. So, and I want to extrude this in the same direction, so I can use the same vectors as before, as I did when we extruded the window surface thing. Let me just kind of connect everything a little bit nicer. So this, I need to extrude this in the same direction as before, with a different value. So I'm going to use a different amplitude, and this is going to be my overhang. So I'm going to say I want my overhang to be 2 meters, and this is going to be my extrusion. Now again, I need to graft. So let me just quickly disable. I need to graft, and I think I may have to simplify, I'm not sure. I don't need to simplify or anything. Okay, good. Okay, I need to make some space. Okay, what I can do is this. I want to be able to see where everything is connected. Okay, so this is going to be my balcony. That's going to be how much I want to go out. So I'm going to call this balcony overhang. Okay. Let me just check everything, 1 sec. Okay, give me a sec. Just making sure you guys are alive. There we go. Okay, so we have the balconies. We need some sort of railing, and we need to make this a slab. So let me just go ahead and make this a slab first. So I'm going to extrude in Z direction, negative direction, and a value of the thickness of 0.3, like so. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, this is slab thickness. Okay, put this over here. This is going to be put at the end because that's going to be one of the final outcomes. So I'm going to put that down there. Oh, that's not aligned. Okay. So we have the balcony floor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct BREP, like so. I'm going to extract the lines, edges. Now I don't know which ones I need. I know that the balconies are square, so I just need to find which ones I'm interested in. This one, this one. Okay, it's in order. That's good. And then join curves. There we go. And we're basically going to offset this inwards. Offset inwards. Distance is going to be thickness. I'm going to say 0.05. Curve. Is it in outwards? I need it to be inwards. Negative. Negativo. Negativo. Oh. Okay. Negative. Thing is, I don't know if it's always going to be inwards. I think it may be, just because we did the whole evaluate surface thing before. But I guess, you know, you can never be too sure. So I think it might be best to make sure that it's always going to offset inwards. So I'm just going to quickly use an evaluate surface. Same thing as before. Area. Faces. This goes here. This goes over here. This is going to be my frame. And that's going to be my plane. Just to make sure. So that goes there. I'm just going to quickly relay this over here as well. And we should have that there. And then I can just loft these two together. Merge. Because they're simple geometries, it's not going to be an issue for the loft. We're lofting between this and this. I need to make sure it's grafted. Simplified, simplified, loft. And then this is going to be what we're extruding. We're extruding this in the Z direction. Positive, yes. Height of the railing is going to be, for example, 1.1. Like so. Let's do this like that. And we have that railing going on. Haha. Now, I don't like this being in here. So there is something I'm going to quickly do. I'm going to move in the same direction as this, but the amplitude is going to be the wall thickness, which I can't remember where it is. Here it is. The wall thickness, where are you? Here. Done. This goes here, this goes here. That way I can make sure. Oh, did it work? No, it didn't work, did it? I don't think it worked. Ah, because I'm bloody connecting the wrong one. A ver, este va aquí. This, I've done something weird here. This, what's happened here? I don't know what I've done. Let me go back. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what I've done. This needs to go here, and then this goes here. Oh, okay. Let me just make sure everything is correctly connected. Oh. There turn this back on. There we go. I didn't want it to be inside because when I copy and paste this, this floor is going to be the top part of the wall. Ah, my friend, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, too late now. Okay, let's bring this down over here. Man, this is spaghetti town. The vector's the same, so I can just connect this here. There. Bring this closer. Yeah, okay. More or less I can see where everything is. I'm also going to clean this up a little bit too. More or less. Okay, so I have the walls, I have the railings, I have everything I bloody need. Okay. So I'm going to put everything, all the finished products of the first floor, I'm going to put towards the end. Like so. These two, well, the issue here is that I don't want to see the previews, but I'll fix that later. Align this, turn all of this on. Perhaps it's a little bit easier if I use a custom preview. And I have something like this. The overhangs are a bit too much. What was this? 1.1. Okay, this is balcony railing height. This is, what the hell's this? Railing thickness. Balcony railing thickness. Like so. Okay, we have this. I'm going to save because I haven't saved in a while. Okay, we have this, I don't need this on, I can turn everything off. I need the slab though, right? That's going to be my base geometry, which is a flipped curve. And that's going to be extruded negatively in the Z direction. In the Z direction. By the same thickness as the balcony thickness. There's a lot going on. Okay, so let me sort this out. Let's put this down here. Let's bring this all the way wherever it is. I'm going to bring it down here. And wherever it has to be. It's 0.3. Where are you? Wall height. No, it's not that. It's the balconies. I don't know. It's not here. It's here at the end. Okay, good. Here. Bang. What happened here? Extrusion. Ah, I need to make a surface. There we go. And we have the slab. And I think that's pretty much it for the definition of this thing. What I'm thinking is that overhang is pretty excessive, so 1.5, and I could probably make it wider. Wall thickness, no, where's my balcony thickness? I need to put these at the beginning so I know where everything is. Door height, no, that's not it. Is this it? I think so. This is probably balcony thickness. Let me change this to 3. Indeed. Balcony width, I mean. Okay. Okay, so we've done that, and now here's the part where we have to copy and paste upwards. So I'm going to use the series. How many floors do we want? Well, that's going to be up to us. I'm going to say for now 5 to start small. What's the height difference in each floor? It's going to be the same as the wall height, so I need to go locate that. Here's my wall height. What I'm going to do is My wall height is going to be there. That's my wall height. Okay. Wall height. Okay, wall height. Stories heights. I'm going to disconnect this here for now. Move this over here. Okay, so my wall height is 3.3. This is Z. I need to move. I need to move in this direction, this. Copy paste. This here. I'm also doing the same for the wall. And what's happening here? Yeah, let me just connect this here. Bang, bang. It's black. Turn this off. And I need to do the same for the balconies. The only thing is, balcony on the first floor doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to create another one here where the starting height is going to be 3.3. And that's going to be for the slab and the balcony, I think. So here I'm just going to copy and paste. This one's now going to go here. And this is my railing. Mosquitoes. Copy paste. Bang. Copy paste. Bang. But I don't want railing at the top, nor do I want the balcony thing. So I'm going to need another one. Okay, here we go. Share this here. I need another one. Another one. Copy paste. In which the starting point is 3.3. The step is also 3.3, but the count is -1. I think that's the logic. X -1. Bang. Bang. Ooh. Bang, bang, bang. Bada bang, bang, bang. I think that's the way to go. And that we said for this and this. So what I'm going to do is a quick cheat. And this goes all the way up here. There we go. And there's probably a lot of things I need to fine tweak, and I would probably have to stress test, because there's probably a lot of things we're missing out on. But as a first start, I think it's pretty solid. This is the balcony, where I'm just going to make it lighter blue. Sorry, not a darker blue, rather. The slab should be the same color as the balcony slab. So I'm going to quickly do this. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. And then here, you're going to see that on the first floor we don't have any balconies, but we do have windows. Reduce the size to 4. What do you mean, the height? There we go. And then here, the cool thing here is that we can now make this bigger, smaller, and it will adapt. There we go. That's the idea, I guess. Okay. Sorry. There we go. I know, I mean, this would have to go through a lot of stress tests to see where errors can be produced or how we can produce errors. I know there's an error, I can feel there's an error already I can work out, what it's going to be. But hey, it is what it is. So yeah, time to try with other curves. For another stream, mate, not for today. Because this can go on forever. Like this can go on forever, honestly. And I think for today, this is like a very simple script. Like if you want to take this further, I guess the next step would be, how would you do this for a curve that's a spline, for example, not a polyline, like for something that's curve? Because this logic doesn't really apply for curves unless you convert curves into polylines. See, that's an interesting exercise. So this can be evolved in so many different ways. I'm going to leave that to you, Walter. You're the genius on this, and I'll probably do it at some other time on a different script or something. But I think for today, I think this is pretty okay. You guys on stream, if you want the file, you can have it. Yeah, curve will be turned out to 11. I mean, I'm interested in working it out, but I don't think it's a good idea to do it on stream, just because it's like a lot will change from this script, I feel like. But yeah, it could be interesting. Maybe we can tackle it next week, perhaps. How would you do, like, what would the logic be if you want to do a curve? I would kind of have to simmer through it, like meditate on it throughout the week passively, and see if there's like a logical breakdown. We can work it out, you know. Usually scripts like this take a long while, but you know, we've done a strong basis in like an hour, so you know, we can take this much further if we wanted to. Yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think of this? Was it interesting? See, there's already something happening here. Because it's one curve. See, there's already things happening. I have an idea as to why it is, though. I have it. I think I figured it out. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think I might have to. I want to resolve this issue at the beginning, because I think there's a clever way to do it, but I'm not sure as to how yet. What's happened, fun time? What's up? Why don't you make the script into a cluster and use it whenever you want? Yeah. I might have to. I feel like this is like an exercise. It's not like a final script, because I feel like this has to be simplified a little bit and like stress test, because I feel like there's a lot of things that will affect whether this will work or not. There's a couple I can think of now that I know that would have to be resolved. So I know that, for example, if I make this point really small, something's going to happen here, and I already have a feeling. Nothing happened. Okay. If I make it really small, smaller than the window width. Nothing happened. Okay. I thought there was going to be an error, to be honest. That's interesting. Okay, fair enough. Nothing to see. I sent you the simpler way than using a path mapper. I'll definitely check it out. I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I reckon I'm not gonna be able to sleep properly in future, so I'll probably end up tackling this a little bit more. Where did he send it to me? Where did he send it to me? Yeah, anyway. I know I'm gonna be able to. Look, see, this is what I meant. Because you can't force this length to be the width of the balcony because it's smaller. So you have to do like a culling system over here. There would have to be a different approach, but I'll probably tackle this further down the line. I know. I think I know how to resolve it. It's just that for me to tackle it now on stream is to know that I'm going to go on for like 2 hours more. So, nah, that's fine. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. Send me the link and I'll check it out in a minute. And yeah, hopefully it's been somewhat interesting. At least the procedure or the idea as to kind of how to break it down into simpler steps. That's the important part. It's not about copying or doing the script exactly as I did it. It's more about, you know, the logic. So, all right, mate. See you all guys on the next one, hopefully. And send me ideas for next streams and we'll definitely tackle them. That'll be fun. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Speak to you all very, very, very soon. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, guys. Cheers, mate.